Hey drummers, it's Rob Litton here from drumstheword.com. Hope you're doing well. Welcome to this free mini song lesson where today I'm going to show you how to play the main parts, the best parts, the coolest parts to the song, the classic Romeo and Juliet by Dire Straits, drummed with the beautiful touch of Pick Withers. And I've got all 3 pages of the PDF for you to download for free from my website, so you can find the link beneath this video, go across the website, have this printed out in front of you as we go through this together. I've got really basic the first half of the song and then some of the other subtleties that go on throughout, but just to let you know that really this song is just one big drum solo. Pick really does do a lot of very subtle stuff that was probably go over most people's heads when they first listen to the song. They probably won't notice all the subtleties, but actually when I was transcribing this I was realising, wow, there's a lot of improvisation in this, and no 2 bars are pretty much the same. He's improvising all the time with the hi-hats, the accents, the touch, some really nice drum fills. And so if you were playing along to this song and you wanted to play it note for note, then I wouldn't beat yourself up about it. It's 6 minutes long, this song, the full version, and there is just improvisation all over the place. So treat this like an improvisational piece. And with these sections that I'll show you sort of the ideas that Pick uses most of the time, and then you can sort of include that in the song yourself. So the first section I've got for you are the first 4 bars of the song when the drums come in at 11 seconds. We're playing cross stick, and I'll probably say this many times, but it's all about the touch and the feel. The bass drum is so quiet the way he plays it. The cross stick is so nice and clean. Hi-hats are nice and tight. It's all about the feel really. So nothing complicated going on, but it's playing quietly and playing confidently. So I think it starts with just the ride cymbal. Pick doesn't use the crash all the time in the song. Sometimes just for a lighter effect he goes to the ride cymbal. So we get this first bar, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and on beat 3 I've written an accent on beat 3. I'm not sure if he intended this, it's probably just a feel thing, but he accents the hi-hat ever so slightly harder on beat 3 for these grooves, so I included that so you can sort of add in those dynamics. Then at the end of the bar we also get an open hi-hat on the and a 4 closing into the next bass drum on beat 1. So that first bar, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. That accent was probably a little bit louder than it needed to be. I wouldn't beat yourself up too much about it, worrying about it. It's just I wanted to include that dynamic because it stands out on the recording, and like I say, whether it was a conscious decision to accent or it's just a motion he's doing and that hi-hat stood out a bit more, but he does repeat it later in the song. So that bar again, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Into the second bar, exactly the same, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, but no open hi-hat at the end of the bar. Bar 3 starts the same as our first bar with the ride cymbal, very slight, light crash or ride cymbal. I think it's the ride cymbal. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So this time he opens the hi-hat into the accent, and 3, nothing going on with the bass drum underneath it, and 3 and 4 and, so 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then the last bar, bass drum starts to become a bit more involved in the groove. We get the same as the third bar without the ride cymbal at the beginning, 1 and 2 and 3 with the open and 3 there in the middle of the bar, but then we get a very subtle bass drum and accent on beat 4, and 3 and 4 and 1. So he doesn't end it with a cross stick on beat 4, he ends it with the bass drum. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. And I played the cross stick accidentally there. If you accidentally did as well, it wouldn't matter. But notice that Pick doesn't. So before I play up to speed for you, let me play those 4 bars slowly. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. And now let's hear those 4 bars up to speed without the microphone on so you can hear just the drums. Here we go. So then straight after that, the next 4 bars of the song, starting at 22 seconds, we get the first bar, starting with the ride cymbal again, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. So that's basically the same as the first bar from the line above. And then the second bar, the hi-hat closes on beat 1, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and then Pick just leaves out a hi-hat here, so he doesn't play the hi-hat on the and of 4 or on beat 1 of the next bar. He sort of separates the hi-hat parts, and you'll see more of it coming up later in the lesson, where he doesn't feel the need to play every single hi-hat note, which is really cool. 4, and then it's the next bar, starts on beat 1, 1 and 2, so no hi-hat on beat 1, notice. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then really what I included in section 4 is for this cool little hi-hat bit. Very, very simple though, all played with one hand. It sounds like he's playing it double-handed in a way, but he's not, because the cross stick is still being maintained on beats 2 and 4. He plays this, 1 and a 2. The bass drum comes down on beat 2, but it's really, really quiet. Let's leave it out for a moment. 1 and a 2, a 3 and 4 and 1. And there's a bass drum on beat 4 at the end of that bar as well. Let me put the bass drum back in. Play it around a few times. 1 and a 2, a 3 and 4 and 1. The hi-hat is playing 1 and a 2 and a 3. It's playing that 16th note pattern. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and 4 and 1 and a 2. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and 4 and 1. It's all those subtle bass drum notes. You want to play a bass drum on beat 3 probably, but he doesn't. So those 4 bars slowly. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and a 2, a 3 and 4 and 1. And now let's hit that up to speed. So then literally the next 4 bars again, occurring at 33 seconds, Pick starts to introduce the bass drum on quarter notes, giving the song a little bit of a pulse. And again, the bass drum is so low in the mix, so he's playing it so soft, like a jazz drummer really. So we've basically got this, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. It's just a case of what he's playing with the hi-hat. So we get an open hi-hat at the end of bar 1 and the end of bar 2. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. And then bar 3, I think from beat 3 he's playing 3 and 4 and 1. It's really quiet in the mix, but I'm feeling something deep in the mix there. And it wouldn't surprise me, because later on he does play 8th notes on the bass drum in later parts of the song. So I think for that 3rd bar, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. I think that's what he's playing, but you could just play 3 and 4 and for that section. But I thought I'd do it note for the bits I'm transcribing, and that's what I'm hearing. 1, or feeling in this case. 1, 2, 3 and 4 and into bar 4, where it's an open hi-hat on beat 1 this time. 1 and 2. 1 and 2. Straight after 2, 2 and 3. Again, maintain that and 3 pattern. And 3 and 4 and 1. And it puts a bass drum at the end of the bar on the and of beat 4. So again, a lot going on in just those 4 bars. Let's play them together. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. And up to speed. So then our first big section occurs at 1 minute 03, just before our first chorus, if you like. And I've written here, note, this drum fill was overdubbed. You can hear the click on beat 4 still. So I can't be sure which of the drum beats were overdubbed in the song, but this is certainly one of them, because you can hear the cross stick being played on beat 4 at the same time as the toms being played. And I don't think Pick would have moved back to the cross. Well, you'll see in a second. It just doesn't feel natural. Years of experience have told me these sort of things, that is an overdub thing. You can still. So what was probably played first was, and then over the top the drum fill was added, and then the next section might have been a different take. But anyway, here's what you hear on the recording. minus that cross stick on beat 4, which you shouldn't stress yourself over playing because the drum fill stands out. You might not have even noticed it. Anyway, here we go. 1 and 2 and 3 closes on beat 3 on its own with no bass drum. That gives you time, your right hand to move off the hi-hat, and 3 to come to this tom. I've written it as the high tom. By the way, there are 3 toms in this song, but whenever there's only 2 toms in the drum fill, I play that tom and that tom rather than that tom and that tom. I just go from this to this tom. I don't worry about the pitch too much. When a drum fill has all 3 toms in it, then that will be the high tom. But when it hasn't, and in this case this one hasn't, I'll use that as the high tom just because it's easier than playing that one. It doesn't really matter, they're both very similar pitches. So we get 1 and 2 and 3 and a 4 and the dynamics underneath it, the crescendo, 3 E and a 4 and 3 E and a 4 and we get this da 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 da, this natural increase in volume. Underneath it, again, it was hard to hear, but I think he's playing the bass drum on the and 3 and 4. Now, I could be wrong, and you could certainly leave out those bass drums. It makes the drum fill a little bit more tricky. Yeah, that's what I'm hearing, the and 3 and the and 4. So, whole thing, 1 and 2 and 3 and a 4 and I mixed up the bass drum a little bit there. 1 and 2 and 3 and a 4 and I missed up the bass drum on beat 4 that time. 1 and 2 and 3 and a 4 and 1. Let me just play it up to speed for you a couple of times. That's probably the best way to show you. Here we go. So then literally just after that last drum fill, we've got this cool section at 106. And I thought I'd include both these sections that occur in the song. This is the first time, sort of like our chorus, if you like. Lots of stuff going on here. Every bar is different. So here we go. Let's get through it. So bass drum falling on all 4 beats pretty much all the way through these 8 bars. Snare drum now is being played on 2 and 4, not the cross stick. 1, 2, 3, 4. Simple as that. Then the next bar we get the same thing, 1, 2 and, but then it opens on 3, 3 closes with the snare drum on the and a beat 3, and a 4 and 3 and a, 3 and a 4 and the bass drum is also playing on beat 4. 1, 2, 3 and a 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and a 4 and that's better. I closed the hi-hat in the right place that time. 1, 2, 3 and a 4 and 1. The next bar, and again I could be wrong, but I'm sure Pick does this. He does this later in the song on the ride cymbal. I know he's capable of doing these kind of beats. I've heard him do it many times in Dire Straits songs. He moves to the ands. He's sort of playing this. Well, he is playing this. But he opens the hi-hat on the and of 1 and the and of 3, leading into each snare drum backbeats. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Then we go with the 4th bar and it closes, the bass drum is played on its own on beat 1, 1 and a 2 E and 1 and a 2 E and 3 and 4 and 1 and a 2 E, 1 and a 2 E and 3 and 4. So it's the and a 2 E and you've got to do a little bit of practice coming off the hi-hat 4. And we get the 3, 4, 1 into the next line. First bar, 1 and 2 and 3 and a 4 E and a 1. And a 4 E and a 1. But the bass drum is playing all 4 beats. 1, 2 and 3 and a 4 E and a 1. And a 4 E and a 1, 2, 2, crash. Second bar there has this break. 1, 2, 3, 4 and a 1. And he comes in with the last 2 16th notes of the bar. Right left crash into the 3rd bar. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and I don't think he's playing the ands just on the hi-hat. I think he's playing all the 8th notes this time, but we've got the open hi-hat on the and of 2, the and of 4, so different positioning of the open hi-hats again. Then to the last bar, And he doesn't play the hi-hat on beat 1, so we get 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 and 4. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 and 4 and 1. So let me play all 8 bars slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3 and a 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and a 2 E and 3, 4. 1, 2 and 3 and a 4 E and a 1, 2, 3, 4 and a 1, 2 and 3, 4 and 1 and a 2 E and a 3 for Juliet. So let me play for you now all 8 bars up to speed. Here we go. So then skipping forward in the song, at 2 minute 28, we get this really cool drum beat, which gets repeated later in this lesson as well. But I just want to isolate it because this is the first time you hear it occurring. It's a really cool idea, this. You might have missed it. He plays the snare drum backbeat on the and of 2 and 4. Just for 2 bars, he moves it back. So we get this bass drum pattern going 1 E and a 2, 3 E and like a samba kind of rhythm. 1, a 2, and 3, and a 4, and... So to give it context, let me put a bar before it with snare drum backbeat on beats 2 and 4 normally, and then go into that bar. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, a 2, and 3, a 4. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, a 2, and 3, a 4, and 1. See how weird that sounds? So that's what he does there for that little bar there. 1, a 2, and 3, E and a 4, and. So let's hear that a couple of times. So then after those 2 bars, at 2 minute 33, we get this little section. And I wanted to include it for the triplet drum fill at the end in bar 2. First bar. 1 and 2 and 3. It's very quiet on the mix, but he goes into a ride cymbal or a crash cymbal. And 3. Up to this tom, he only uses the 2 toms for this drum fill, so I'm just going to use these 2 toms. And a 4 E and a 1. Now he starts to use this idea where he doesn't play 4 E and a 1. He plays 4 E and a 1. His bass drum fills in the last 16th note. Really subtle, very cool, very skillful. 1, 2, and 3, and a 4 E and a 1. Feels really nice once you get that down. 1, 2, and 3, and a 4 E and a 1, and a 4 E and a 1. How cool is that? So into the last bar, 1, 2, stepped hi-hat on beat 2, really quiet in the mix, just to keep the rest of the band in time. And then he comes back in with these triplets, starting on beat 4. Ignore the ghost note before it. Starting on beat 4. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, crash. 4 to and to 1. 6 notes per beat. In beat 4 contains 6 notes. So we've gone from 1, 2, 3, ba 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 bum. 2, 3, 4 to and to 1. 2, 3, 4 to and to 1. 2, 3, 4 to and to 1. And again, we've got an increase in volume there. But to make that increase in dynamics a little bit easier, he adds in a little ghost note just before beat 4. It's a triplet, don't worry about it too much, but just feel it just before beat 4. So we get 1, both bars put together in context. 1, 2, and 3, and a 4 E and a 1. 2 and 3 and a 4 to I can't and 4 to but I messed it up. I count 16th note triplets, 4 to anta, 1 to anta, 2 to anta. But I'm a little bit tongue tied, so even that's difficult for me. So let me just play that a couple of times up to speed for you. Here we go. And then we got this beast at 3 minutes 39. I've got all 8 bars for you, all the little drum fills he does, all the turnarounds. There's a lot going on in just this section. So you can see he's really sort of picked it up a bit. And again, if you've never really listened to the drums on the song, you'll be surprised how much he's actually playing here. So, first bar, he's using that and technique on the hi-hat, I believe again. He plays 1 and a 2 and 3 and a 4. And we've got that samba bass drum pattern. 1, a 2 and 3, a 4, or Africa by Toto. 1 and a 2 and 3 and a 4 and... Next bar continues that idea. 1 and a 2 and... But then from beat 3, he comes down to the snare drum. 3 and a 4, E and... 3 and a 4, E and a 1. A little nice line of notes there. One and a 2 and 3 and a 4, E and a 1. Bar 3 has that turnaround bar we had earlier. Second time it occurs in the song. 1, a 2 and 3, a 4 and I think he then goes back to normal 8th notes. 1, a 2 and 3, a 4 and. So that samba pattern's been playing for 3 bars so far. Bar 4, last time we played the bass drum for this line. 1 and it could be that tom. I'm going to use that tom. Doesn't matter. 1 and 2, E and 3 and a 4. It's quite hard to see those notes because they're a little bit squashed together. But from the E of 2 to E and 3 and 3 and a 4. Very subtle there. He uses the bass drum just to get into the crash cymbal. 3 and a 4 and 1. So 1 and 2, E and 3 and 4. Then the next line, first bar, 1, a 2. That samba bass drum pattern comes back. 1, a 2, 1, a 2 and 3. Bass drum on the open hi-hat that time. And 3, E and 4, E and a 1. Using that trick at the end there to come out of the floor tom. 1, a 2 and 3, E and 4, E and a 1. Notice that bass drum's playing on beat 3 and beat 4 and then a 1. And then the same idea in this second bar with the triplets, except this time we're coming in just before beat 3 and then we're continuing it over into beat 4. And it's quite hard to hear the toms he uses, but I believe he just plays 3 to and to 4 to and. 3 here, 2 here, and then all the rest of the notes here. You're basically ending with the left hand on the and of beat 4. And 3 triplet, I can't it properly. And 3 to and to 4 to and. And again, we got a subtle increase in volume. 3 to and to 4 to and 1. Play up speed for the moment. So we get 1 and 2 and 3 to 4 to and 1. Then, again, this is definite now, I can hear it. He places the right cymbal sort of close to the bell, but not on the bell. We get 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Just playing the ands on the right cymbal there. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Then get ready, I'm going to use the high tom now because we got all 3 toms in this drum fill. And into that last bar. 1 E and so the same old trick where we just leave out beat 1. 1 E and 2 E and 3. The old 2 E and 3 trick. And then really cool, very subtle, a set of 8th note triplets. 4 triplet 1. 4 triplet 1. So in context with the tempo, 1, 2, 3, 4 triplet 1. And when we hear it in context, you'll hear how those triplets sound different to 8th notes. So that last line, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and a 1 E and a 2 and a 3 and 4 triplet 1. So finally, let me play the whole thing slowly, then we'll do it up to speed. Okay, 1 and a 2 and 3 and a 4 and 1 and a 2 and 3 and a 4 E and a 1 and a 2 and a 4 and 1 and a 2 E and a 3 and a 4 1 and a 2 and 3 and messed up. I'm going to start from the second line. 1 and a 2 and 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 and 2 and a 3 to 4 and 1 2 and 3 4 and and a 1, E and a 2, E and a 3 and 4, triplet 1. So, let me hear, again, let me play for you. You're the one that's listening, not me. Let me play for you all 8 bars up to speed. So there you go. I hope you had fun with that. If you've got any questions, feel free to email me, rob@drumstotheword.com. Don't forget to download all 3 pages of this PDF. You'll find the link beneath this video. And then while you're at my website, you might want to consider signing up to become an online member. And what I currently offer for $97 is a full year's online access to every single full video song lesson I've ever recorded and transcribed. And that's over 450 famous and popular songs. Unlike this lesson, in my full video song lessons, I teach you every single bar from start to finish, every beat and fill. You get the fully transcribed drum chart for each of those lessons. And like I said, I've got over 450 full song lessons on the website already, including at least one other Dire Straits song. Sultans of Swing is up there, I know. And I'm sure I'm going to add more Dire Straits in the future. As a thank you for signing up, I give you access to hundreds more little videos teaching you many, many famous drum beats, fills and solos. I give you 3 ebooks I've written over the years containing hundreds more famous beats, fills and solos. And then over the year of your subscription, you also gain instant online access to all the new material that I upload for my members. And I record new lessons every week unless I'm ill or on holiday, so you've got lots of cool stuff to look forward to over the year of your subscription. But if you've got any questions about any of that, feel free to email me, rob@drumstotheword.com. And until our next drum lesson together, toodle pip and happy drumming to you.